Well, the first snow has fallen here at CK Cycles, and you know what that means. New bike project time. And boy, do I have a project for you. Come on in the shop and let me show you what I found. This is a 1984 Honda CB700 SC Nighthawk. Similar to the CB750, but slightly less displacement in response to the early 80s motorcycle tariff that was put in place. This bike has about 14,314 miles on it and is actually the second tariff bike that I've had in the shop. Here's my VF700 I worked on earlier this year and did a very short series on here at CK Cycles. I'm not sure about you, but this CB700 just says speed to me. The bike comes to me in excellent condition, and I really don't think it's going to take too much to get running. The bike is stuck in gear, and the clutch system is not functioning. I'm going to start this rebuild by getting the clutch fixed, which is going to include rebuilding the hydraulic slave cylinder. I'm going to start the rebuild process of the clutch slave cylinder by removal of the clutch master cylinder and draining of the hydraulic clutch system. Here I'm just opening up the master cylinder to see how much fluid is inside so I can drain it off. I'm trying to be extra careful here in case there is some clutch fluid or brake fluid left in the master cylinder. I don't want it to leak all over the bike and possibly damage the paint finish on the bike. After removal of the diaphragm, I was able to see that the clutch master cylinder reservoir was completely empty and actually had quite a bit of corrosion in it. I think this master cylinder is either going to need to be cleaned out and rebuilt or replaced. I apologize, but I lost audio through a portion of my video recording here, so I'll have to describe taking the clutch slave cylinder off of the bike through voiceover. The clutch slave cylinder here is held on by 3 bolts that mount it into the side of the transmission case of the engine. There is enough play in the clutch line here that I was able to remove the entire cylinder as kind of one unit instead of taking the line off first. I did not want to risk getting clutch fluid or brake fluid dripping out of the line all over the controls and things of the bike and thus harming the finish. I took a quick photograph of this location on the bike because there are some electrical lines and other connections that wrap themselves around the clutch slave cylinder. I want to be sure that I put those back in place exactly how they were when I took the cylinder off. I ended up having to use an impact to get the banjo bolt loosened up on the cylinder here. I suppose I could have loosened this bolt with the cylinder still mounted on the motorcycle itself, but I did not want to risk fluid dripping around. I was kind of excited to see some fluid coming out here at the bottom of the clutch system, and that tells me that perhaps the slave cylinder wasn't in too bad of a condition or left dry for too long. I put the slave cylinder end of the clutch line in a plastic bag here just to try to catch any more fluid that may drip out. Time to rebuild the clutch slave cylinder. I'm going to utilize a brake crafter's kit. I have used them on my VMAX, one of their kits, and it came out very nicely, so they had a kit for this cylinder. I'm going to start with removing the seal. See what the piston looks like under here. The seal is definitely toast here. There it goes. Alright, so there's just a cavity here that the clutch push rod recesses into as this piston pushes out on it here. So, alright. Now I'm going to see if I can use a little compressed air to push this piston out. I don't know if I'll get a good enough seal, but we'll try. Not happening. Okay, may take a little force. Fluid inside that cylinder is pretty nasty. Hopefully I can get it moving without damaging it. There we go, it's moving. There we go. Looks good. Now I want to remember which way this spring is on the piston. And there's the seal. That seal looks pretty bad too. Definitely was rebuild time. All right, I'm going to take these over to the parts washer and get them cleaned up. The seal, so if you look at it, there's the two lips of the seal. This is a solid lip. Two lips here are facing the back of the piston, so I need to remember that as well. There it goes, like that. Two lips, flat surface, two lips pointing towards the rear of the cylinder. All right, I am going to take out this bleeder screw. All right. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is run these for a couple cycles through my ultrasonic cleaner and get it everything all cleaned out, including this banjo bolt here. All right, I'm going to get that set up. This is water, not vinegar. Okay, so while the cylinder is soaking and cleaning, I'm going to see if I can salvage this brake clutch line. I removed the master cylinder and that was all dry rotted and corroded up, so I'm not sure if this line is totally free. I was excited to see fluid down here. I think that probably kept the clutch slave cylinder in pretty good internal condition, that it could be rebuilt. But I'm just going to see if I can blow just a little compressed air through the line here and get the line free, so when I put everything back together, that line will work. Line seems to be free. No chunks are coming out, so that's good. And hopefully that'll bleed through, no problem. Alright, so I'm just going to clean out this push rod cavity where the hydraulic slave cylinder mounts, and just make sure that that sealing surface is good. I'll also clean this off. This goes in between the engine case and the slave cylinder. So I'm just going to get all this cleaned out. All right, yeah, I was curious if the push rod was free, and it is. So that's great. I'm going to check and make sure it's not bent. Does not look bent. This end here though is corroded, and that's the end that I believe slides in and out of the engine case here. I don't want that to get stuck, so I'm going to clean this up real quick so it'll slide smoothly. Have it chucked here in my drill. That polished up nicely. There's some pitting on it, but I don't think that's going to prevent it from doing its job. I think it'll work. There we go. Perfect. I'm ready for that cylinder once it's rebuilt. Let me clean this off real quick. So after a few cycles through the ultrasonic cleaner, these are looking very good. Very good. I'm going to spray them off with some parts cleaner and then hit them with some compressed air, and then we'll get to rebuilding. Brake Crafter's kit, a little grease, some washers for the banjo bolt, all the seals you need, really nice kind of heavy duty sticker. I like stickers. Okay. I think that we will start with the seal on the piston. Actually, there's two seals on the piston. First one goes on the, I guess you would say, the bottom of the piston. That seals itself around the push rod, the clutch push rod. It's just a nice push install, nothing too major. Okay. I think if I remember correctly, the lips go towards the top like this. It's a pretty tight fit. All right. Okay, everything is lubed up. Okay, that feels nice. Time for installation on the bike. So I referenced the photo I took earlier just to make sure I put this thing back on correctly. And I believe the bleeder goes up. Okay. The spring's going to want to push the cylinder back out here, so I just want to make sure it doesn't push it all the way out while I get my screw set. I believe that it goes this way. I just don't want it to fall out and get damaged. Okay, got a couple threads in there. Get this out of the way. Get this second one in. Okay. I'll probably snug these all down kind of at the same time. This one has your cable clamp on it. Compressing the piston into the cylinder body as this gets tightened up, compressing that spring. I think that's probably about right. Okay, now the clutch line. I think I'll need a 12mm for that banjo bolt. I'm going to wipe this off. I believe that these are a sealing, like a crushable sealing washer. I think it goes underneath. I'm going to go reference my photograph real quick, just to make sure I know. Yeah, no. I think these go first. And then that. I'm going to go look real quick. Yeah, so these go first up against the crankcase and then the clutch line. Very good. Very good. Let's see here. Okay, so I will keep this socket out. We'll probably use my wrench. All right, let's get the master cylinder back on the bike and start getting this system bled out.